Hello and welcome to our 23rd session, and in this session this is our final session where we are going to build our 3D profile web page and we are going to host it freely on the GitHub. So here when you are doing the hosting, we have built the site using Vite and 3JS, and 3JS and Vite sites cannot be easily uploaded on GitHub Pages. You will have a lot of problem, and today I am also going to show you the tweak that you have to follow to upload Vite 3JS sites to actually the GitHub. So to begin with, what I am now going to do is, see this Visual Studio Code is open, and as now to test the site whether it is running or not, I am going to now run npm run dev, and when I execute it, you get the link. I will control click on this and I see that my site is running fine. So for this now, before I host it, I will come here and press Ctrl C and I am going to terminate. And now the first thing is I have to build my application. Before you build the application, you come to the folder and you see that if you have any dist folder present here, delete it. You should not have any dist folder here. So even if you open this in your file explorer, you should not have dist folder here. Now after checking this, now come over here. One thing very important that you have to do is you have to come to this vite.config.js file, and in this vite.config.js file I am going to come to a new line and I am going to call this base. I am going to add this component base, and it will be equal to, in inverted comma, I will give it a name. I am now going to give the name. I will add /, then I am going to call my 3D profile and then end it with this /. So this is the name. Remember, you have to create a repository in GitHub with the same name, my 3D profile. I will copy this. Now come to your GitHub account. So now what I will do is I will now come to github.com, and so when you come into github.com, I have sign in button here. I will click on sign in, and here I will enter my email and password, and when I click on sign in, it is going to ask for an authentication code because I have added two-factor authentication. So now I have entered my profile, and in this profile I have top repositories, and in this I am going to now create a new repository. I will click here to create the new repository, or I can even come to my profile page here, your profile. This is my profile page, and in that I will come to repositories and I will click on new repository, and I am going to give it the same name that I gave it in the vite.config.js file. I will right click and paste this. See the same name I have provided it. See that the public is on, and I will scroll down and click on create repository. So we have created an empty repository. After you have created the empty repository, now we are going to come over here and we are going to transfer our files from our machine to the GitHub repository, now using the command line git commands. So here the very first thing you have to do here is, first you have to configure your git with your email and name. For this, what you have to type is, I will type git, you have to type config and then -- global, and then you have to type user email, and then this in inverted comma I have to give my email ID like this. So once I will close the inverted comma, and now if I press enter, it will be configured. Similarly, I will configure git config global, and I am going to now configure user name, and I am going to type Satvik, and actually it is yes Satvik in the repository. So, I will give asterisk and I am going to press enter. So, after configuring my Git, now first I have to initiate the Git. And how am I going to initiate it? Just type Git and type init. And when you type Git init, this is going to create a folder in your Git, that is in your repository, as .git. Since it is a .git folder, it will be a hidden folder. Now, after this, what I have to next do is, I have to now add all my files into this repository. So, for that I will add git, and then I am now going to call the command add, and then just add the period or the full stop and then press enter. This is going to add all the files into my repository. After adding it, now this has to be committed. So, to commit it, we are going to use the command git commit, where I am going to commit to the main branch yum, and then I have to, in inverted comma, give a comment, my first commit, and then I will close it. And then if I press enter, so all this will be committed. Now, all my files are committed here, and after this, now after doing this, I have to transfer all these files from here to my repository. How am I going to do it? Actually, if you come to your website and when you created the repository, you can see here it has given you a command. See, we have created, we have added it, we have committed it, and then you just take this git remote add origin. You have this line, you just copy this and then come over here and just right click and paste it. Now, if I press enter, sometimes it will ask you to log in. Actually, I have already logged in, so it didn't ask me, or otherwise through the browser applying your username and password, you have to log into your GitHub account. And after this, the next command I am going to add here is, after I have enabled this, if you come back here, I have to add this git push u origin main. So, I am going to copy this, come over here and right click and paste it, and when I click push means it is going to push all my files from my machine to the repository. So, all the files that is present in my project, you can now see has been copied to the repository. So, if you click on this name now, you have all the files copied over here. And now, this is not just a repository, here I am going to host a website. So, for this what I have to now do is, I have to now come to settings first, and in settings you have one actions, open the actions, and in general you scroll down and you have here one workflow permission. Set this workflow permission to read and write permission and click on save. And after you do this, then in settings you have the next option, pages. This GitHub Pages is where we host our website. Coming to GitHub Pages, now I am going to host it in the source. I am going to host it through GitHub Actions. So, select this GitHub Actions, and now you have some ready-made action, but right now I am going to create my own action. Click on create your own, and here in the name you have to give this the name as main.yml. So, YML is the extension we are giving for this files. Create this workflow, that is, it has to perform some functions to host this. The entire function will be performed here, and what you have to now do is, I have given you a link. So, you have to come to that link, and if you open it, this is a Vite page link, and in this if you scroll down, here they have given this workflow command. This is a long command, you can see here. you have one copy button here. Click here, copy. It has been copied, and after you have copied, now come here, select everything here, delete it, and after you delete, right click and paste whatever you copied now, and then you have commit changes here. Click on commit changes. So here in change, you have create main.yml, commit directly to the main branch, and click on commit changes. So when you click on commit changes, this change will be committed. And now to see this action, come to actions, and you have this create main.yml, and this is now queued. This has to now actually perform. See, automatically the deployment now starts, and the deployment is happening, and if you wait for a few seconds, the deployment will be completed. So once the deployment is complete, you have one address here, https satvik.github.io my 3D profile. If you click on this link, now you have to copy this link and you have to share this link in your assessment. This is the final link, you have to give it to me for assessing it. Now if you click on this link, see this, your website is live and anyone can watch this website. But remember, since we have used this 3D on some mobiles, you may have problems. Some old mobiles it may not open, but on all iPads and desktop computers and also in all latest phones and expensive phones, you will have this 3D working fine. So now we have this, if I click on about, it goes to about and we have all these things, it is working fine. So now our site is ready. So now what I want you to do is, this address that you have here, copy this address and paste this address in the assessment and submit it. And once you submit it, I will assess it. And the thing is, with this we have completed this project. This address you may not only share it with me, you can share it to anyone, and now you have your profile online free of cost and anyone in the world can see your works. And now you can link all your GitHub works inside this, add the links so that it acts as a repository of your talent. So with this project comes to an end. Thank you.